Alrighty, guys, if you don't know who I am, we'll start this off with that. My name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make videos for NFL. I'll have an NFL main slate video out for tomorrow. If you don't know who I am, I also make posts on a subreddit that is called DF Sports with one S. So not DFS Sports, it's just DF Sports. I make posts here. I make updates throughout the day. As you can see here, Claxton out, Simmons on a limit. Nothing changes for me. Fox out, Davion is a lock for me. Turner in, I'm off the Pacers. Mitchell out, Garland lock button. Levert looks good, marking it out. Love Kessler. Non-Kessler starting, love both, etc. So stuff like that you can really figure out. Post. You can ask me questions. I'll answer you. People talk strategy. Really good place to be. And if you ever need to get a hold of me, you can message me on Reddit or you can message me on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. So going over the slate tonight, I had a good night tonight. Finally had a winning day. Fortunately, main slate didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but the night slate went very well. So, so for main slate, the core that I had, I also want to see what the Raptors, because I had Scotty Barnes today. I actually want to see what he ended with. He didn't. Oof. Thank God I got off him. But yeah, did not do well. Unfortunately, Garland chalk, mega bust. But the core that I have for today for the main slate was Trae Young, Karis LeVert, Darius Garland, and then once we got news that NAW was starting at the point, I told everyone in Discord, I was like, I think straight up they're the same. I think they're both good plays, like very good plays, but I liked NAW more for tournaments, and I told everyone, I was like, listen, I think Davion's safer with his role, but I think NAW definitely has a higher ceiling. And I was just like, I might prefer NAW. I forget if I told everyone I was keeping Davion. I forget, but I said I preferred NAW, but I think I told everyone I was keeping Davion, but both absolutely smashed. All of us in the Discord got to NAW. All of us in the Discord got to Walker Kessler. Them being both around 20% ownership is an absolute joke. People say DFS is dead, but if you think DFS is dead with Walker Kessler and NAW being this owned because people want to lock up their early spots with the given value, you are mistaken. DFS is very much alive. And can we talk about Anthony fucking Edwards? Is this guy for real? He's chalk this slate, goes for 6 steals. He's chalk this slate, goes for 6 steals. He's chalk this slate, goes for 5 steals. I finally play him. I finally buy into Anthony Edwards in a phenomenal matchup against Utah with no Markkanen. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. 30 fantasy points. Got into massive foul trouble. Went to the locker room. Unbelievable. You guys want to know what else happened to me? Jaren Jackson Jr. Low owned Jaren Jackson Jr. 1% owned. Massive blowout. Was on pace to absolutely break the slate. Massive blowout. You guys want to know what else happened? Low owned Walker Kessler on pace to absolutely smash 3 fouls. 2 picks up 2 fouls in 2 minutes in the first quarter. Comes back in the second. Picks up a third immediately. He sits the rest of the half. Plays 5 first half minutes. Comes back in. Absolutely smashes. The faders got bailed. Let's go a little bit more here. Low owned Trae Young. Absolutely breaking the slate. He had 44 fantasy points going into the fourth quarter. Why doesn't this count as an assist? Why does this not count as an assist? Your guess is as good as mine, but that's a fireable offense. That should count as an assist because Trae Young is in my lineup and we all needed that double-double. So by ruling, that should have been an assist. Change the NBA rules with whatever they did. That should have been an assist. Change the NBA ruling. I don't care what happened. Should have been an assist because he's in my lineup. If he wasn't in my lineup, no assist. But unreal variance tonight. Unreal. Going over to the night slate. Absolutely smashed. We had a Discord member take third place here for $1,900. I'll show the lineup in a second. But the night slate core that I had was NAW, Rudy Gobert, Malik Beasley, Walker Kessler. 3 out of 4, all absolute smashes. Walker Kessler was the only one underwhelming because massive foul trouble. Rounded out my lineup with Jordan Clarkson, Kyle Anderson, Jared Vanderbilt, Luka Doncic. So phenomenal night slate day, profitable day overall. It feels really good to be on the profitable side for things. And then if you are interested in the Discord, I'll have a link to that below where I have in-depth videos going over each slate. Player pools for cash, GPPs, cores for cash, GPPs, etc. And then I just want to show just all the winners. It's just every day at this point. We're going to have winners every day, but love to see the green. Love to see the green. Love to see the green. That's me. Here we go. This was his lineup. What is that? Like $40 into $2,000. So it was a good day. It was definitely a good day for a lot of us. So I have not looked at this slate, so please, please forgive me if I do miss some things. I've been a little bit busy. Of late, so we'll go over the slate. This is going to be my first initial reaction to the slate as well. Good match, perfect. So if I pull up like Popcorn Machine and I look at some rotations, definitely please do ignore that. Washington 20th in pace and their 22nd defensive rating. So Reggie Jackson is out. Still doesn't mean much to me. I believe Terrence Mann is probable, questionable. That doesn't really change much for me. Paul George, I think is fine as a spend up. Shooting forward eligibility is definitely nice. It is a good matchup. I think normally he's probably going to play low to mid 30s minutes. Kawhi back definitely does hurt his ceiling, so I'm not going to be going out of my way to play Paul George, but I think he's perfectly fine. Kawhi Leonard played 30 minutes last game. If we're going to get 30 minutes of Kawhi Leonard, I am definitely intrigued at this price tag. But more of just a GPP play for me. Zubac, just there for me. Now that the price went down, I think he's a fine option. Once again, not going to be going out of my way to play either. I think John Wall is definitely interesting with no Reggie Jackson. I'd assume he'd have to play more here. It's a good spot, so I do like John Wall for GPPs. Like him quite a bit, actually. We're going to have to monitor the starting lineup. I don't know if they want to keep John Wall off the bench or not. Kawhi's back, so Batum's going to go back to the bench. I don't think we need to go there on the slate, but he is a playable value regardless. Let's go over the Clippers now, or the Wizards now. The Clippers, 22nd in pace, 5th in defensive rating. So Bradley Beal going to continue to be out. Rui is already out. Will Barton, we don't know if he's going to be playing. I believe, I'd assume he is out. Let's just assume he's out. So Washington is running an extremely tight rotation. So if you look at tonight, Denny played 40, Kuzma 36, Kristaps 35, Monte 34, Corey Kispert 32, Jordan Goodwin played 34 with Will Barton out. So with that being the case, it's not the best matchup. It's definitely a tough matchup. So I'm probably going to stay away from Kuzma and Porzingis. Monte Morris is playable if he's going to play these huge minutes, but I think there is definitely better value. But the real standout here is going to be Denny. With him playing, close to 40 minutes a game, he's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. He is just way too cheap. He is going to be uber chalk tomorrow, but for good reason. I think Denny makes for one of the best value plays on the slate. So I do like Denny quite a bit, especially if Barton's out. Kispert, you can consider with those guys out. He played 32 minutes tonight. I'd expect around 32 minutes again. Not going to be a high usage guy, but he is a playable value. But I think he's kind of priced for his ceiling. Jordan Goodwin randomly played 34 minutes tonight. I did not expect that. I mean, do we really think he's going to play that much again? I guess we'll have to see with him. Him and Barton kind of split those guard minutes, if I recall correctly. So if Barton's out, you can definitely look to Goodwin at 4.3K. I definitely don't hate that. But we're going to have to wait and see. If Barton's in, I wouldn't even touch it. So, yeah. Let's go over the Brooklyn Nets, sorry. Pacers, 5th in pace. And 21st in defensive rating. So really good spot here. No Ben Simmons. Claxton is questionable. Buta Watanabe is questionable, I do believe. Is on track to play Saturday. Okay, that's nice to know. So Kevin Durant, Kyrie, I think they both look good in a really good matchup. There's definitely some blowout risk, but KD at 11K. These two are going to dominate the usage. No Ben Simmons. I think that definitely helps both of them too. Kyrie Irving has been absolutely smashing of late, but when I play him at low ownership, bust. 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 But yeah, I mean, with how much Kyrie Irving's been shooting of late, his rebounding's, he's always been a decent rebounder, but his rebounding's been up. With KD shooting the ball a ton, they're both going to play huge minutes. They're both going to dominate the usage. I think both are fine. Normally I'd kind of pass, but I'm fine with either. Now, with Ben Simmons, and if Claxton's out, if Claxton plays at 6.4K with no Ben Simmons, he's going to have a very solid role. I think he'd be a pretty good play in the mid-range. We saw with no Ben Simmons, he could play huge minutes. Claxton's a pretty good point per minute guy, and I think this is a nice spot for him. So would like Claxton if Ben Simmons already out. Sorry, excuse me there. So if Claxton plays with Ben Simmons out, I do think he's a solid option. Not going to get to Royce on the slate, but he's going to play huge minutes. You can definitely consider it. TJ Warren, I don't think I can do it. He's going to be limited. But I think there are some interesting options here. So if Claxton is out, who are they going to start at the center? Are they going to start Day'Ron, the GOAT, Summer League GOAT Sharp? If for some reason they start Day'Ron Sharp at the 5, which I don't know if they'll do. They have Morris, they have Sharp. They could go small. They could do like KD. They could do like KD at the 5. They could do a number of things, but I will say this: if they start Day'Ron Sharp at the 5, he's an auto lock button. He would be the best play on the slate. It wouldn't even be close. So that's what I will say. I'll make an update once we get a lineup and once we get Claxton news. Luckily, this is the early game, and then with no Ben Simmons, Joe Harris is going to be loaded for massive minutes. I actually think he's a perfectly fine value play. So. Let's go over to the Pacers side of things. Good spot here for the Pacers. Brooklyn. Where's Brooklyn? 24th in pace, and maybe it isn't the best spot as it used to be. 16th in defensive rating. So Halliburton's been on one. He's basically a lock for a double-double. I'm pretty sure guards have been very good against Brooklyn. Ben Simmons is out. Price hasn't moved. I don't know what you can say wrong about Halliburton. Miles Turner, I like the spot for him too, especially if Claxton is out. I think this could be a spot where he just goes absolutely insane. So I do have some interest in Turner. Hield, Nembhard, Mathurin, they're all just there for me. I wouldn't go to Nembhard at this price with Halliburton back. Like, Hield had a massive game tonight, but I'm not buying into that. He shot 60% from the field. I mean, the good thing with him is he's going to play huge minutes. He does have a ceiling when he's hitting his shots. So, in play, I'm not going to go out of my way to play him. Mathurin, everyone plays him here. Bust. Halliburton comes back. He finally smashes. You guys know the deal. Has a ceiling. But really hard to click on his name. Jalen Smith, minutes all over the place. Just a GPP play. If you think he plays normal minutes, then play him by all means. Let's go over OKC. So, not the best matchup here for Oklahoma City Thunder. Cleveland plays slow. They're last in pace. They play very good D. They are first in defensive rating. So, not a lot here, man. I think SJ is fine just because he's matchup proof. He's always going to, produce. Giddey, It's just SGA for me, really. I think that team's pretty easy to talk about. Really good spot here for the Cavs. Oklahoma City Thunder, 3rd in pace, 18th in defensive rating. So we're going to have to monitor the Donovan Mitchell news here. If he is in, there's still quite a bit to like here. I think Mitchell, Garland are fine. I think Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are two pretty good plays. I definitely do prefer Jared Allen. We've seen bigs kill Oklahoma City Thunder this year, so I definitely do have interest in both of the bigs here for Cleveland, especially Jared Allen. I think this price tag is too cheap given the matchup. Wouldn't get to LeVert if Mitchell's back. Chetty Osman would be pretty fringe. Would only play Chetty if Love is out. But if Mitchell is out, then I'm going right back to Garland. Tonight was an outlier. I don't care if the ownership's going to drop. I'm going right back. I think he would look phenomenal once again. Mobley, Allen, still solid. Prefer Allen. And then Karis LeVert, lock button, would look like one of the best value plays on the slate. Chetty Osman, he'll play huge minutes off the bench. I think he'd be a solid value, especially if Love's out. So, yeah, man, potentially a lot to like here with Cleveland. I think Jared Allen's going to be extreme chalk tomorrow. So, I think it's chalk. You can definitely fade, but a really good spot for him. Bulls 8th in pace, 7th in defensive rating. So Lucas Price has gone down a whole $300. I keep saying it, like he went for 60 tonight and it didn't kill you. So at this price tag, man, it's just like he needs like 90 fantasy points to really be needed. So if you feel comfortable with the value, by all means play Luka. For me, I prefer playing studs that are around the 10K range, just because if they go for 60, they're going to be phenomenal plays, and they have the upside. Luka obviously can go for 100, but yeah, if you're comfortable with the value, by all means, play some Luka. It's just Luka for me on this team. I kind of want to see what the minutes ended up with tonight with Tim Hardaway Jr. I heard he had a pretty bad night. Still played 28 minutes. That's fine. Okay, that's good to see. So Hardaway's playable. Not going to get to Dorian. Maxi Kleber's probably going to play around 25 minutes, but he's a low usage guy. Playable value. So, yeah, not a lot there for Dallas outside of Luka himself. So, tough spot here for Chicago. Dallas is 29th in pace, and they are... have they dropped defensively? There's no way. 11th in defensive rating. So, I actually looked at the stats. Dallas actually hasn't been that bad against bigs, surprisingly. But DDR, Levine, Vooch, you guys know what I'm going to say here. They're all fine. They're all fine plays. I prefer playing players on teams that don't eat into each other's usage, but they're all fine plays here. If you want to go to one, be my guest. I think they're fine. There is an interesting value play here in Alex Caruso at 3.8K, who's been starting, playing around 30 minutes. And if there isn't a lot of value on the slate, yeah, I think he's solid. I definitely think he's a solid value play. If there isn't more value that opens up. So, some interesting Caruso. Outside of that, not much. Maybe just the main guys, Caruso for me. On to Boston. Let's go. Warriors 4th in pace and 20th in defensive rating. Tatum, Brown, Smart. Like, this team is just not fun to talk about. It is a good matchup. Been targeting teams against Golden State all season long. I think Tatum, I think Brown are both in play. I think I might rank other spend-ups ahead of them, like Jokic. Like, I might prefer Dame for cheaper, Halliburton, Kyrie. But I think it's a good spot. I think they're both solid. Jaylen Brown, 8.8K. It's not getting to the price point where I think he should be, and I think Tatum's definitely appropriately priced too. But man, Golden State's been a team to target fantasy-wise, so I'm fine with both of them. Al Horford's out, so Blake Griffin's going to continue to start at the 5. I don't hate him for value. I know he's dust, but he's not the worst fantasy producer. We don't care that he's bad at basketball, right? We just care that he's going to score fantasy points. And Blake Griffin's a guy that's always been a pretty productive player fantasy point-wise, so yeah, definitely could get behind some Blake Griffin here against the Warriors. All right, Warriors time. Boston. 18th in pace, and sorry guys, I just have this habit of beatboxing. 8th in defensive rating. They have gone up in defensive rating. That's interesting. Steph at this price tag, after a fuller game, I definitely do like it for GPPs. Nobody's going to be playing him. Peripheral stats are up from last year. So, Steph, solid. Poole, overpriced. Wiggins going to continue to be out. I didn't realize that. Did he just get ruled out? That's interesting, because I did not realize that. We're going to have to see who Steve Kerr is going to start. When they still should be starting Kuminga, they start like some dumb shit. They started, who'd they start? Jermichael Green last game or something, and they started, who else did they start? Ty Jerome at the I forget who they started, but they do some dumb shit. We're just gonna have to monitor here. I think Kuminga has definitely solidified a role off the bench, though. If he for some reason starts, I definitely do like him. But we'll have to monitor that, who they start for Wiggins. Whoever starts is going to be a playable value. I think Kuminga, regardless, is in play off the bench. And if he starts, would like him quite a bit. But just be careful with Clay, with Draymond, and all them. He's going to have lower usage in the starting lineup. Might honestly prefer playing him off the bench because he's going to have much higher usage rate. But we're just gonna have to monitor, see who they start. Like they could start Lamb. Where is like Moody could get extra run? I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll come back to that. I think Draymond at 6.2K is solid. He's been doing a really, really good job running that second unit. So I don't hate me some Draymond, especially with no Wiggins. Dante at 4.4K. I think it's doable. But not going to be loving it. But last 2 games here, guys. Fuck, man. Where's Denver? 23rd in pace and 27th in defensive rating. So we're going to have to monitor the news on Market, and we're going to have to monitor. Sexton is already going to be out. We're going to have to monitor the news on Fontecchio. Interesting to see that Taylor Horton Tucker still barely entered the rotation with no Fontecchio. Fontecchio actually closed last game. THT only played 10 minutes. Fontecchio actually played 20 minutes last game. So that was quite dumb to see, in my opinion, that THT is in the doghouse, which I don't really think makes sense. So it's a tough matchup here. We're going to have to monitor news. If Markkanen is in and Mike Conley is on the bench, if they start NAW again, I really like him. I still even think he's playable off the bench with no Sexton. I think they really want to give him minutes. I forget who the Jazz coach is, but they've been hyping him up, really talking about him. I still think he's playable even off the bench if they want to start Conley. But if NAW starts again with Mike Conley out, I definitely do like him. If Markkanen's in the rotation, that definitely could muddy the waters minutes-wise. But I still think he's going to get solid run, regardless of starting or not. So we'll have to monitor that. If he starts, like him a lot. If he comes off the bench, still playable. Markkanen himself, this is a tough spot. I'd really just be off Utah outside of like Beasley and NAW if Markkanen is in. If we get Olynyk at the 5, if Markkanen is in, I'd have some interest, but I don't like the matchup against Denver. They had a starting lineup tonight of Alexander Walker, Malik Beasley, Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, Kelly Olynyk. So we'll have to monitor that. And then if Markkanen is out, Clarkson, I know he's been god awful, but he's going to have a good shooting game once, right? Surely they're running such a tight rotation. I'd still have interest going back there. Kelly Olynyk at this price tag, I don't think I'd go there. But I would like Malik Beasley quite a bit, who's playing huge minutes, has just such a high ceiling when he's hitting his shots. Not afraid to be aggressive. Those are guys that I like to play. So would like Beasley. Conley if he comes off the bench, can't do it. If we get news that he's gonna like increase their minutes, I'd have some interest. Vanderbilt, I believe, gained minutes tonight from Kessler foul trouble. This is if Markkanen's out, so I don't really think I'd go there, assuming they start Kessler. If Kessler starts again, I know there is a risk of foul trouble against Jokic, but if he could just stay out of foul trouble, at this price tag, he's going to blow this price tag out of the water. So if he starts again, I really like him for value. And then if Mark's out and NAW starts at the point again, just fire up all the NAW. He would look phenomenal for value. So a lot to monitor there with Denver. We're not gonna or with Utah. We're not gonna have that news either, unfortunately. Actually, we got that news early today. Maybe we will. Where is Utah? 10th in pace and 25th in defensive rating. So phenomenal spot here for Jokic. I don't care who starts at the 5. He's going to absolutely feast. I think Jokic makes for the best bet on the slate. So not much to talk about there. I think Jokic looks phenomenal. Murray is probable. Just there for me. Priced appropriately. Gordon, Bruce, priced appropriately. Bones has had a consistent role off the bench the last 2 games, 26 minutes and 30 minutes again. Has an extremely, extremely high ceiling, pretty high floor as well. As you see, he only shot the ball 9 times, still for basically 30 fantasy points. So I do like me some Bones off the bench. KCP is a playable value. He'll probably play around 30 minutes. Pretty reliant on the scoring, though. I don't think I'm going to go to anyone else. I will mention, I guess, Christian Braun has been in the rotation, probably playing around 20 minutes. If you want to go there at the flat min to open up for you to play like multiple spend ups. I wouldn't hate you for it, actually. I really wouldn't. Last game here, guys. Let's get it. Portland. Portland. Where's Portland? They're 28th in pace. 24th in defensive rating. So, Cat going to be continue to be out. We all know I'm going to fade Anthony Edwards. He's going to go for 10 blocks, 10 steals, and 110% shooting. Because when I finally buy in, 3 of 14 doesn't get 10 steals, but it's playable at the price tag. I'm going to fade. D'Lo, I think it looks really good at 7.3K. He's been phenomenal with no Cat. The main guys just get such a huge usage bump. So I like me some D'Lo, and I like me some Rudy Gobert quite a bit. With no Cat, I think this team is better without Cat. That might be a hot take, but I think this team is actually better without Cat, personally. But love me some Gobert tomorrow. I think he's way too cheap. Love that. Kyle Anderson played huge minutes tonight. I think he's fine, playable, but I think after a ceiling game, he's going to be a little bit over-owned. Noel, not playing enough for me to go there at that price tag. I think the ceiling is definitely limited. Jaden McDaniels is always playable, but he's always in foul trouble. If you want to deal with that, be my guest. Last team here, boys. Let's go. Second pace, the Timberwolves are. 14th in defensive rating. So, Damian Lillard, 10.1K, I think is approaching his price tag to where he should be. But good to see he played 38 minutes last game. I'd assume he'd played 38 minutes again here. I think personally this spot for him, this could be a really, really good pace-up spot for him. Damian Lillard definitely thrives in those spots. So, yeah, I think Dame looks fine. Simon's overpriced. Jeremy Grant's continued to be phenomenal shooting from the field. If you want to ride the hot streak, go for it. Nurk, 7.2K. Don't love the matchup. The minutes up and down. Just a GPP play for me. Josh Hart is probable. Going to play huge minutes. A guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Fine. I'm not getting to any of the value, though. So I hope this helped you guys out, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.